Hello folks, welcome to the canal de Channel Jose. Today we're gonna give you an idea how we do this maintenance or brake replacements on this 91 to a 94 Toyota Tercel. We have the brake pads, and the brake pads also fit the 95 to the 99 Toyota Tercel, but this video is specifically for a 91 to a 94 Toyota Tercel. We're using our half-inch impact wrench, which is the made by Milwaukee. We recommend it. We haven't had any issues with it. It's really good tool. Also, we have our car lifted off the ground. We have the tire taken off, and we have a stand supporting the weight of the car. That's very important. Safety first. So for the lug nuts, we use a 21 millimeter to take them off, and then we're gonna use a 12 millimeter to take the brackets or the brake pads off, so we can extract the old brake pads and put the new brake pads. Also, we're using a couple racks, and we're going to be using grease for the sliders. They need to be checked and see if they slide. So with that said, we're also, throughout the video, we're going to explain what components can cause that while you're driving. And with that said, let's get started. So once you have removed your tire, this is how the system is going to be exposed. So this is where this is your rotor, your caliper, and you got two bolts in the back that we have to take off, and we're going to be using the 12 millimeter for that. And this is how the system looks. And then we have we're going to turn the steering wheel towards the left, so we can get to those bolts easier, so it's easier to work with. So one thing that I do always is that it can always happen that they give you the auto parts the wrong brake pads. So you want to do a visual inspection of if the brake pads look the same as the ones that you got on the car. Do they have the same length, the same shape? Do they look close enough? So before you start breaking this apart, you have the right brake pads. Otherwise, you'll have a car taken apart, and then you got the wrong parts that don't fit. Now you gotta go to the auto parts, and now you gotta put everything back together and head over to the auto parts and verify. So make sure you got the right parts before you start breaking this apart. One thing that I have noticed that makes my job easier is that if I turn the wheel or the systems, so I can expose the bolts a little bit more towards the outside, so I don't have to get too much into the wheel well, so that can help me out. And now I can see the brakes in both sides, so that helps me a lot. So we'll leave this turnover. Another thing I do is I come up here to my brake booster, and I uncover or get the cover just sitting on top of the bowl, and then when I press the piston back in, all the oil goes back to the reservoir or the cylinder, and then it doesn't pop the cover or builds pressure. So that's one thing I do. Okay folks, before we start taking this apart, I'm gonna give you an idea of what we're looking at. These are your sliders, so the caliper slides side to side depending to, so the brake pads can crush, and this centers itself, so everything is pushed or tying together when you brake. When you push the brake, the piston comes out of this side, but then this adjusts itself so that both brake pads touch the middle or the brake rotor. These have to, you gotta be careful if these are ripped, these boots, these plastics, the rubber, if one of them is broken, you gotta replace it. There's 4 of them, 2 on each bolt, one in the middle of the bolt, the caliper and the bracket, and one towards the end where the bolt is, and there's 2 more in the bottom there, you see. So those have to be in good condition, otherwise you'll get dirt in there, and that will damage, or that will get the caliper to get stuck, and it won't slide, and that's when it causes one brake pad to wear more or wear on even surfaces, sometimes because of these get stuck. So now that we have done a visual inspection, we're gonna loosen our guides, sliders, and now we already loosened this one up, so we can start working towards getting towards the brake pads. Okay folks, so at this point we have loosened up our caliper, but we have the bolts sitting there, or sliders. They're bolts at the same time with the sliders, so we have them on their grooves. So what we're gonna be doing is that the piston is right here, our caliper piston is right here on this area. So the liquid or the hydraulic liquid comes in, the oil comes in through here, and then when we push the brakes, the oil gets pushed in there and the piston is forced to go out, which clamps or pushes the brake pad into the rotor, and then the sliders act as they center out the caliper, so both brakes are pressed even into the rotor. So right now our thickness of the brake pads are thinner than our new brake pads, so we're gonna have to push our brake piston in again so we can have that clearance, so these ones will fit in there and we can put our caliper back on with our new brake pads. So these brake pads wear out, so as they wear out, the piston stays out, and then once you want to replace them, you got to push it back in so the new brake pads fit right into the groove and everything falls right in place. Otherwise you won't be able to put them in if you don't press that cylinder back in. So what I'm talking about also about decompressing or compressing the piston back in is because the rotor, when it gets worn down, the rotor creates a lip where the brake pad hasn't touched at the end. So when that happens, the brake pad is touching the deepest place, and if you try to extract your caliper, you can't, because that lip is stopping the brake pad from sliding out. So what you have to do is you gotta press that piston back in, and then you can take that caliper out by creating that space. Otherwise it's like a wedge, you won't be able to take it out. So that's why we're talking about pushing the piston back in as much as you can by hand, or using some other tools to decompress the piston. So what I do, I don't put this, I put a screwdriver between an opening, and I try to get the caliper and the rotor in the middle, not on the edge between the brake pad. I get it from in the middle of the rotor where the heat disperse, and I push just a little bit so I can get my rotor away from the brake pads. Now as you can see, we have a space, or we have a play, because the brake pads are not anymore compressed by the piston is being pushed back in a little bit. So now that we have this gap, we can slide this out, and we're going to show you where we put our screwdriver when we were putting it through this gap. So what I did when we pushed the screwdriver through and we spread apart the piston, we put it through here, and then I grab right in between the cooling fins of the rotor to spread apart the piston on the caliper. That's what we did. Okay folks, so now that we have removed our bolts, we can remove our caliper. We pull it straight out, don't let it hang, and then we can expose our brake pads, which are the outside and the inside brake pads. And for this video we are replacing the brake pads, but they are pretty healthy, as we can see, and we're going to explain what we mean by that. So for this video, this car doesn't need brake pads, and we're just doing it for the purpose of the video. So we're going to take off both brake pads. They don't have sides, so both brake pads, the new ones, they're all four the same. So we're going to take these out and put the new ones in. So we are gonna compare the old brake pads with the new brake pads. So as you can see, the new brake pads are really thick compared to the older ones that came out. So what rule of thumb for replacing brake pads? Well, one thing is that for sure, if your brake pad part where it touches the rotor is almost or less thicker than the brake pad structure, it's time to replace it. So what I'm saying is that you see this back plate, this is where the caliper will touch, or the piston. If that part is almost or the same thickness as the brake pad paste or this area, it's time to replace it. That's what we consider replacing brake pads. These still have some life left over. They're almost, as you can see, they're almost as the same thickness, but not yet. So they would have some more life. But the rule of thumb is that if this part is the same thickness as the back plate or thinner than the back plate, it's time to replace it. As you can see, the new ones are like twice as thick, and the older ones, they're closer. It still have life, but they're getting closer to the thickness of the plate. So that will be a couple more months of use, and it will be almost to replace. So we're replacing with the new ones. That's one tip that we want to give you out. Why does your brake pads worn down differently? Well, one might be worn down different more than the other, and I'm going to show you why. This area might be worn down more than this, so it might be in a slant, and the other one the same. So why do they sometimes wear out more from one end from the other, or vice versa? Well, it's because these sliders have to be lubricated, and this car actually has them stuck a little bit. I'm not able to move them, so I should be able to slide them back and forth, and I can. And we're going to show you what we mean by, once we do the lubrication, why it's really important to have these guys lubricated so they can slide. That helps for the brake pads to grab and brake evenly. And sometimes when these get stuck, sometimes that creates vibration on your car too, because one side is, the brakes are stuck to the rotor a little bit, so it keeps braking the rotor even in a small amount, and the other side might be not doing it, and that's when you start getting shaking as well. So that these guys can create uneven wear of your brake pads if they're not lubricated well. And now we're going to show you how we lubricate these guys, and how they should be operated, or how they should slide. See, they can't slide right now, but we're gonna do it. So now what we do, folks, is that we have our sliders, and then these boots, dust boots, what I do, I pull them over the slider, and now I can slide the slider inside either side. As you can see, you see that metal piece that has to come out, so I can slide it to this side or that side. Be careful, or when you're pushing it, not to damage the boot. Go slow. So we push, we slide it out. So once you take the slide out, your slider, there's another one. So I'm gonna take this one out, and I'm gonna take these little dust boots off so I can clean inside there and clean that dust boot. And what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be using my brake caliper grease, and it's synthetic. So we're gonna be careful with these boots. They have a lip, they fall in a groove inside here, so they don't have sides. They only have they only have the out and inside. They don't matter if they go on the either side. So we take them out, and we clean and lubricate and put it back together. So now what we do is right in the slider opening where we took the two boots and the slider off, we clean it really well before we start adding the new grease. So what we do is we fit a rag through it, and we clean it, and we do it to both of them, to this one as well. So in case the grease that is in there is too thick or too dry, what I'm using, I use some sort of a starting fluid to break it down, so it evaporates really quick, and it does a good job. It use something that evaporates quick, so I use it. So it does a good job and evaporates quick. So once I clean one, I clean the other one as well. I take everything apart and clean it. I don't like to use WD-40 or anything, because if it gets any extra liquid into the rotor, that might create a problem while braking. So if you can also clean these little dust boots for any bad grease that is in there, because this one has to be able to move, compress and decompress while the caliper moves in the small amount. This is for it to be able to move. So we clean it, and then we can start putting it in, but we gotta fit some grease in there so we can fit everything back on. So now that everything is clean,